See him getting his hand raised. I mean, I feel like he's the most skilled, talented fighter that Tank ever fought. Like,
Errol Spence just sent a warning to Gervonta "Tank" Davis that Frank Martin is going to finish him in their upcoming fight on June 15th. Hall of Fame boxer Tim Bradley, however, feels that Tank is going to easily dispose of Frank Martin. He also exposed Martin's biggest weakness, which Tank will look to take advantage of.
That's all he needs is one, and clean on that chin. And I think Frank makes mistakes, and he makes mistakes late, where you have a guy like Tank to be able to expose.
The boxing world has mixed opinions on who wins this fight, but what did they have to say about either fighter? Stick around and watch as we find out in this video by Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Frank Martin is heading closer, and the boxing world is eager to witness the two division champions make a stunning return against a fighter who isn't well known. Both fighters do have a history, with Martin having sparred and trained with Tanks during their amateur days, but not many people think Frank Martin can win this fight. Frank Martin is a massive underdog next weekend, but his promoter, Errol Spence, is backing him to get the job done.
Skilled, talented fighter that Tank ever fought. Like, it's one of those he can't take those early rounds off and feel like he's gonna come in the 7-8.
Spence Jr. provided strong support and confidence in Frank Martin's abilities, stating that he sees Martin winning the upcoming fight and emphasizing that Martin is the most skilled and talented fighter that Tank Davis has ever faced. Spence highlighted the importance of Martin not taking early rounds off, expressing that Martin would dominate from the 1st through the 12th round, although acknowledging Tank Davis as a great fighter. Spence firmly believed that Martin's speed, strength, and power would be evident on fight night.
He's gonna put up a fight. You know, he's a great fighter, but I feel like Frank definitely gonna take it. I feel like he's the best fighter he's fought. He's gonna see the speed, he's gonna see the strength.
Spence also discussed his reasons for promoting Martin. He recalled seeing Martin's talent and abilities early on, noting that Martin started by working with Spence's younger brother. Spence was impressed by Martin's performances in early fights and decided to sign him, recognizing his potential despite the competition to secure Martin's signature. He further praised Martin's dominance over other fighters, particularly highlighting Martin's victory over Michael Rivera, which solidified his standing as a top-level fighter. Spence emphasized the journey and the current position of Martin as one of the best at 35 ulbs. He stressed that Martin would prove himself against Tank Davis, whom Spence referred to as the big dog of the division. This fight was seen as a significant opportunity for Martin to establish himself as the top fighter in the lightweight division.
This is me coming out victorious, you know. Just me going out there being me, being who I am, not letting, you know, Tank frantics, none of his little distractions that he try to throw fighters off with.
Frank Martin also shared his perspective, expressing confidence and determination. He aimed to remain focused and not be distracted by Tank Davis's tactics. Martin predicted a victorious outcome by staying true to himself and his abilities. Both Spence and Martin encouraged fans to support the fight and expressed excitement for the event, which we expect to be a defining moment in Martin's career. In another recent interview, Martin discussed several aspects of his preparation and views on Tank Davis's boxing skills and tactics ahead of their clash.
We've seen Tank a lot. You know, I know he got a lot more tricks in his bag, but you know, I'm still under the radar. Nobody really know what I got and what I could bring, so that play on my part.
Frank Martin began by reflecting on the hardest punchers he has faced in his career, mentioning several names, including Michel Rivera and Tank Davis, acknowledged Tank's power as significant and emphasized his focus on his current fight and his regard for distractions or negative comments from others, such as direct criticisms. Martin elaborated on his training regime, noting his dedication to the gym, consistent practice, good nutrition, and overall physical conditioning. He highlighted the importance of his footwork and how it has been a focal point in his training, with his coach ensuring that his footwork complements their game plan and strategy despite criticisms of his footwork. Martin believes that the lack of recognition stems from limited exposure and opportunities to showcase his skills on a larger stage regarding Tank's. Davis Martin acknowledged Tank's extensive experience and the variety of opponents he has faced, which have allowed him to develop a wide array of tactics and strategies. Martin views himself as an underdog, which motivates him as he feels he is underestimated and has yet to fully display his capabilities to the world. The discussion turned to a specific sparring session with Tank, where Martin clarified that the footage shared did not show them exchanging punches, but rather engaging in wrestling, which he felt was misleading. He perceived Tank's actions as an attempt to create a narrative that benefits him, demonstrating Tank's ability to influence public perception. Martin also expressed his motivation for being the underdog and how it fuels his drive to prove himself, especially in significant moments like fighting at the MGM Grand for the 100th fight, an opportunity he finds historic and exciting in terms of preparation. Martin mentioned his regular drug testing and mental and physical readiness, emphasizing his focus and determination to excel in the upcoming fight despite any pre-fight hostility or energy. Frank Martin isn't bothered by expert opinions and predictions. He rather wishes to focus on his training and preparation for perhaps the biggest fight of his career. Speaking of expert opinions, boxing trainer Robert Garcia shared an interesting opinion on the upcoming fight. Garcia acknowledged that Martin is a skilled fighter and would put up a good fight against Davis, describing Martin as Davis's most skilled opponent to date. He noted that Martin is a complete fighter with all the necessary attributes to challenge Davis effectively. Garcia highlighted that Davis has had the advantage of carefully selecting his opponents, which has contributed to his current status as a superstar. He also mentioned other top fighters in the lightweight division, such as Shakur Stevenson and others whom Davis has not yet faced, suggesting that Davis's team has done a great job in managing his career by picking the right opponents. However, Garcia emphasized that Martin is likely the most talented and difficult opponent Davis has encountered so far. One key aspect Garcia focused on was the difference in experience between the two fighters. He pointed out that Davis has significant experience headlining big fights and performing on the big stage, which he believed would be in Davis's favor during the match. In contrast, this would be Martin's first time in such a high-profile fight, which might affect his performance. However, Garcia also mentioned that Martin has an experienced trainer, which could help mitigate some of the challenges of fighting on a big stage. When asked about the potential impact of Ryan Garcia's situation on Frank Martin, Robert Garcia dismissed the idea, stating that each fighter has their own team and separate camps. He emphasized that the situation with Ryan Garcia should not affect Frank Martin mentally or otherwise. Finally, Garcia discussed the broader implications for Davis if he wins the fight. He acknowledged that, while Davis does excellent numbers and attracts large audiences, he still needs to face and defeat the top names in the sport to be considered the face of boxing. Garcia implied that, while Davis is a smart businessman making strategic choices for his career, facing elite opponents like Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson would solidify his status in the sport. Another interesting prediction recently came from Ryan Garcia Kingry, who initially picked Frank Martin to defeat Tank. He pointed out that while Frank Martin is talented, he has not yet faced a moment of such magnitude, which could be a decisive factor in the fight. Sims discussed the importance of experience in boxing, agreeing with the notion that starting training at a younger age can provide a significant advantage. He mentioned that he, like Tank, began training at a young age, which has contributed to their skill levels and understanding of the sport. Sims also touched upon the potential future of the weight classes, expressing doubt that Tank Davis would move up to the 140-pound division unless it was for a significant money fight. He mentioned that Tank had previously stated his discomfort with fighting in a heavier weight class, indicating a preference to stay in his current division. 323 throughout the interview, Sims conveyed a deep respect for the sport and his opponents while confidently asserting his belief in Tank Davis's ability to prevail against Frank Martin. He highlighted the combination of Tank's talent, experience, and mental toughness as key factors that would lead to his victory in their upcoming fight. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is the favorite to win this fight, but what are your thoughts? Will Tank win this fight convincingly, or can we expect a surprise from Frank Martin? Do let us know in the comments. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for the latest notifications so that you never miss out on videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.